Cheers. Welcome to Monroe County's finest. I'm Nick.
I'm Mike. And in this video, we're going to sit down and talk about some of the aftermath and the events that happened at AOA Off-Road Trails. So stay tuned, and here we go. All right, let's talk about AOAA.
Yeah.
Before I get into the actual trip, I would like to say thank you very much to this guy right here. Don't ruin it.
Gotta savor every moment, man.
That's fine, because you may never get this again. The amount of time he puts into editing these videos, the amount of time spent behind a computer screen and, you know, going through all the footage. And there was about, how many hours of footage, AOAA? 5?
So we have a total of 5 hours and 32 minutes of footage, just straight footage of AOAA. And I would just like to point out there, if you guys want to go and see a lot of the raw footage, because a lot of it's gotten cut out for entertainment purposes. If you guys want to see a lot of the raw footage, because there's a ton out there, just get this video up to, I want to say what?
25 likes, and we'll throw on all the raw footage of our trip.
It is going to be a long video.
Unless, of course, you wanted to break it up, but that's up to you. You're the one editing.
Nah, we're going to do a one and done ding.
One and done ding. All right.
One and done ding. So 25 likes, and we'll throw up all the raw footage. It's going to be a pretty long video, but if you want to check it out, and if you're really entertained, just, you know, like this video, and we'll put it up next week.
Also, if you do end up liking this video, I also believe if you're not subscribed, subscribe.
You should do it.
I agree.
And while you're there subscribing, you should rev the hell out of the bell and make sure you're notified every single time we upload. We upload every Friday at 10 a.m.
Also, Eastern Standard Time, of course.
Oh, of course.
Also, please comment. Like, we want to know what you feel. We want to know what you think. We want to know, you know,
more about you. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
It sounded good for a second.
It did for a split second.
Yeah. Let us know what you think about the videos.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, so back to AOAA. Once again, thank this guy right here. You saw the short of him trying to get in my truck. He was in and out of that truck all day with cameras, running in front of all of our vehicles, making sure we got good footage. So.
Oh yeah, and it didn't get any less prettier than that short.
Yes.
It was just.
Yeah, there was no steering wheel on this side to grab, so, you know, if anything...
that's actually going to be in last week's video, a little clip of me hopping in. Okay.
Oh, yes, okay. Well, so thank you for that. The fact that you didn't pull anything major getting in and out of that truck is amazing. So,
yeah, everything held up.
Thank you. And one more shout out. I'd like to thank our friend Scott that went with us. Really good friend of mine. I worked with Scott for a long time. Really good guy, really funny guy. And he's never been on anything like that before. So he was really happy to join us. And I think he had a blast.
Oh, he seemed like he had a blast. He also helped me out with some of the videoing when you were getting Chad unstuck from the pit.
Yes.
He helped out with some of the videos, so I greatly appreciate it.
An absolute glorious moment. But I'll get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
So I built this truck thinking that something was going to break. Obviously, I threw things in it that could take the abuse. 1-tons, gears, all the good stuff. I was fearful for my steering, which, thank you to Chad's wife for counting the amount of K-turns I had to make. There were 25 K-turns I had to make because that steering in the front of this truck is atrocious. It's It has no throw. Even with that Pitman arm, I thought we gained a little bit, just not
enough.
Nowhere near enough. No way. So the K turns were annoying. The constant stopping to adjust my steering was annoying. But overall, throwing this truck together the way I did and driving it the way I did, I don't want to say I beat the shit out of it, but it took everything I did throw at it.
Oh, yeah. I'm 100% sure our group of friends, they knew this is its first time, like first expedition out on the trails. They very well knew what they were doing. And we love them for it. However, they were making sure they pointed out every puddle
or pit
or sketchy little situation that they would think it either get stuck in or break in, and they pointed it out. And I give you credit. You went through every single one they pointed out.
Let me be frank here. They wanted it broken. They wanted it stuck. If it got stuck, I probably would have packed up and moved somewhere else, out of Monroe County. Would have moved.
I would have been the end of the YouTube.
That would have been. Well, no, I'd probably just drag you with me.
I would hate to see that.
Me too. So, for everything the truck did, I really don't have any complaints. There's some clunks and some sounds that weren't there before that are there now that I'm going to address. I'd like to pull that rear diff cover off and see how things look inside. Those were just a fresh set of gears put in there. I would like to somewhat sooner or later go with a different steering system. I'd like to go with a full hydraulic steering setup on this
and you want to know something, guys, that steering system is very expensive. So if you guys could really help us out, it's free for you guys, but it means the world to us. Just subscribe.
Totally
subscribe. That helps us out a lot in liking the video, so it pushes our videos out to other people.
And also, with so many less K turns, is a little less editing for Nate. So you'd be doing him a huge favor.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
So, yes, that was my biggest complaint, was the steering. When my hubs are locked in, both of them, there is no steering.
No. You got straight and hope to pray.
Yep. Because unfortunately, I found out the hard way that front axle, the spider gears are welded. There's no locker. There's no limited slip. There's no lunchbox locker. There's no spool. It's welded. It's a Lincoln locker. So
we're definitely gonna have to look into possibly getting another Yukon ring
yeah, a new ring and pinion set. Yeah. Well, yeah, or just a new carrier.
Maybe we could go with a brand new carrier.
A new carrier with a Detroit or something. But at any event, with both hubs locked in, hydraulic steering is a necessary item. The only other issue we had with it was the overheating. Somehow or another, my fan shroud got broke.
It is.
She's overheating?
She's just overheating. That's the only spot that she's leaking from.
I don't know why.
I can hear it boiling.
Oh, that's my overflow bottle spot.
Oh yeah, we didn't really cover that in last week's video. The bottom part of the plastic shroud broke. It wedged itself in there
between the fan blades,
stopping the fan blades from turning. Didn't break the fan blades.
Nope.
Stopped the fan blades from turning, which then in return caused us to overheat because everything was still flowing coolant wise.
Just wasn't cooling down because
the fan
was off.
Yeah, there was no airflow over the radiator, so it was just overheating out of nowhere, and you could hear it boil. And I'm pretty sure even in the clip, you could see it just steaming and pissing out of the overflows.
Yeah, so I got nervous at first. I thought that was a blow-by tube because I'm so used to my diesel truck. There's a blow-by tube.
Yeah.
So I just saw this big tube, and I'm like, is that a blow-by tube? And if there's coolant leaking out of it, that's bad.
Yeah.
But it was only my overflow hose from the overflow bottle. Things got hot, but we, just a quick fix. We tore some of that plastic out, freed the fan up. As soon as we started it back up, the temperature started coming down real quick.
So possibly another thing that we might look into is getting an electric fan and get away from the viscous clutch fan.
Could be a good idea.
So going with an electric fan with a switch
might be a beneficial thing.
Yeah.
But I expected my transmission to get very upset. It didn't. It got hot. Like, I could feel it through the floor, but it wasn't.
Scott could very feel it.
Well, Scott had a seatbelt buckle up his ass, so he was probably
he's a trooper.
He's a trooper. Man.
He's a trooper. No, he sat on a seatbelt for a good portion of the ride.
I felt like every time you got out to film something, the relief of him moving over was just
I'm sure
was immense.
Oh God,
yeah, oh yeah. It was a very tight fit in that truck. So thank God he's skinny, because if he was our size, that wouldn't work.
We'd be
taking door skins off the inside to get more clearance.
Oh yeah, we would be butting shoulders very, very hard. And I'd say throughout the entire thing, when it comes to the S10,
yeah,
it was very fun. It was very it was nice to see that our fruits of labor, and most of the project of the S10 was done by you.
Well,
I came in towards the end to help out with the finishing touches.
Right. Well, and that's fine. Ricky helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Our friend Brian helped us out a lot with it. Chad has helped in the past with it. So all those guys really put in some time with me to make this what it is. It's always something I wanted to do. I wanted to take a small Chevy truck, put it on 1-tons, put it on boggers, and just eat the woods with it.
Oh, yeah.
So overall, I was very happy with the trucks. How it did and what it went. Everything I threw at it, it just took it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though our very good friends tried to get me to break it, I have no major real complaints with it. I was very happy for
it performed exactly how you would want it to be, minus the couple of inconveniences. It performed exactly how you wanted it.
Yes, it did. For a first trip out with a truck I've never taken in the woods,
say it's a success.
It was a big success. Big success.
2 thumbs up.
Which means that should be at least 25 thumbs up on your end. But that's just me talking. So let's go.
I think we should move on to, let's talk about the main bread and butter of breaking down wise.
I was going to say, let's talk about the Amigo.
So the Isuzu Amigo, aka Experiment 626, our first run out. I think we got 10 minutes out.
About 10 minutes. Yep.
10 minutes out. We first hit I want to say it'd be the first actual obstacle in the in our trails.
Mm-hmm.
It was going up a pretty steep hill. We were not expecting to hit something that soon. That steep.
That steep. Very shortly after, you'll see him go up, and then you'll hear like a sad sound, and then
yeah. If you guys listen very closely, I tried to magnify, so it might sound a little bit off, but I tried to magnify. You could hear the moment when he's driving up, when you're looking down towards his spare tire towards us.
Yep.
You could hear the time when he hits the gas, he gets off the gas, and he hits the gas again a little bit. You could just hear the straps for the yoke.
Yeah, they just exploded.
Stripped right off.
So we heard it a lot clearer. The camera did not pick it up as well, but it was loud.
It was scary too, because the entire time they were rolling down, and I wish I had an external footage watching them go.
Yeah,
they were very close of just rolling off.
Well, there was a tree behind them, so they would have hit that first.
Yeah, but still,
it was scary. I'm sure.
It was very.
That Amigo needs an upgraded master cylinder. Mm-hmm. It's only got like a one piston master cylinder up there.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, it needs a bigger one. So the reason that is the Amigo is I mean, obviously everybody that watched it loved it, and it is an awesome little truck. You know,
It is something unique. It's an entire.
nobody has them.
No, it's an Isuzu Amigo on what, a Chevy frame
Nope, it's an Isuzu Amigo body on an Isuzu Amigo frame
with a Chevy powertrain.
Yep, Chevy 350, 700 R4. I think an NP 208 transfer case and Chevy half-ton axles.
Yeah, so everything moving it and supporting
Yep.
it is all Chevy.
All Chevy stuff, yes. So,
except for the body and the frame.
Yep. So the problem with that is because it's set up the way it is, that drive shaft is
Very short.
very short. Actually, that drive shaft came out of this. That was actually my stock S-10 drive shaft that he cut down and had work for that platform. But because of the angle, he had to raise his pinion angle up high. Because if it's any lower, that it binds on the slider. I think ultimately that truck should get. He should eliminate the blocks because I think axle wrap is a huge problem with that.
I think that's what's actually destroying the straps is the axle wrap and maybe the alignment of the inlet of his diff and the alignment is so harsh. Like it's real diff is pointing pretty far up.
Yeah, it's like that. And you know, every time he hits the gas, the pinion goes up.
Yeah,
and,
so
you know,
maybe half springs in would help.
Well, that could
with
be
axle wrap axle wrap, and then maybe turning the diff down a little bit might help.
So without stretching the wheelbase, I think getting rid of the blocks is a must. A stiffer spring, because I think those springs are very, very weak. Like there's, if you've ever, I've been behind him before. When I had my Jeep, it was easier to see because I was lower on the ground. I was behind him, and those springs are just constantly bending, moving. They're very soft, very soft. So they could be worn out. You know, I think a slip yoke eliminator. Instead of the U-joint straps, he should do U-joint hoops. So where they hoop in around and then they bolt in from the other side of the pinion.
Might help out,
those, the clamping force, and they're stronger.
Yeah.
You know, just a couple other things, but ultimately his vehicle did well.
Yeah, it did.
For what happened, every time we go off-roading, he's got extra stuff because that always happens, especially when he's got riders in the back.
Yeah.
All that extra weight.
Well, this time he just had his wife with him, which I think helped them out a little bit.
It did.
Also, in part 2 of the videos, he also did it again going through a puddle. He broke his straps on his axle.
Yep. And not to cut you off there, but the fact that he was able to get back to the truck where we were in
both times.
Yeah. Front wheel drive. I was highly impressed.
Yeah, so if anybody's wondering, not understanding understanding how it worked out, we end up just pulling out the drive axle for the rear end.
The drive shaft, yeah.
Yeah, the drive shaft, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
The drive shaft for the rear end, and he was just pushing it along with the front drive shaft and the front axle moving him forward. And he did very well. He also blew out a tire somehow. I'm still not exactly sure where he... What's that? It's not fine. Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Wow,
I ain't in a hole there. Well, we kept hearing a hiss.
Yeah, but I don't know, we weren't going over anything really sharp.
Well,
either.
Those tires were old, too. Those tires were dry rotted. They were old. The fact that they held up as long as they did amazes me. So, you know, when I had my Jeep, I had the same thing happen because they were dry rotted as all hell. You could put a quarter between the cracks of those. But yeah, so I mean, it did well. He had a couple of unfortunate mishaps with it, but it did do okay.
Nothing he was not prepared for. He had extra straps to get the drive shaft back on.
Yep.
He had his spare
U-joints.
Yeah, he had extra U-joints, extra caps. So he was very well prepared for that failure. And even with Chad, thank God Chad brought it, had a hijack
Yep,
He brought
Olive
with.
Jack. Yep.
So we were able to, on the trail, change out the tire. I don't remember. Was that before?
That was before the second U-joint blowing up.
Yeah, that was before the
Yep.
second U-joint blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was... I commend him. He was very well prepared for anything possible to keep him going.
So, if it was me, and Ricky, I love you, but put a 14 bolt in the back, get rid of that stupid 10 bolt, put an 8-lug front out of a 3/4 ton Chevy, or better yet, go with a GM Dana 60.
He pointed. This was not for the audience. This was right to Rick.
This is right to Rick, and I hope he watches this and gets a chuckle out of it. Put bigger axles under this thing. Slip yoke eliminator, better U-joint straps, and send it. Fix those leaf springs, and then don't be using that. Well, if I didn't break it, I'll go through with you excuse, because if I went through it, you need to go through it. Then we'll finally find out which one is the best one. In my opinion.
All right.
That's just me talking.
So, going from the Isuzu Amigo to, is it officially Trailmaker?
So, I'm not sure yet.
Chad is mixed between
Trailbreaker and Trailmaker.
Yeah, and I think he settled down on Trailmaker. I'm
not sure.
I don't quote me on that. But I think he settled down on Trailmaker, his 95 YJ Wrangler.
Mm-hmm.
That thing, honestly, it's a Jeep. It did Jeep things, and it did...
Still burns to pee.
It did very well up until the point he went through the pit.
Mm-hmm.
I
went home happy that day.
He's getting a huge kick out of it.
I did.
I don't think anybody really understands, like, the foresight that this guy had. He bought an extra toe strap just for anybody, and he flat out said before we even left, when we were getting ready the day before we went, he was flat out saying, "Is anybody gets stuck, I'm pulling them out." I'm like, "You're crazy, dude!" And lo and behold, Chad got stuck going through a pit.
Well, I'll say this. So with he's the one that really. So, okay, let's backtrack here. I'm sorry. So we went through this big, open, like, lake puddle thing. It
had warning signs and everything.
Oh, it was
deep pit. Yeah. Warning.
Well, not that one. Not the rut.
That one?
Not the rut. Remember the big open one?
Yes.
And then they're like, "All right, you need to go through the rut."
Do you want to do a deep hole and maybe have to get pulled out?
That's what she said.
I think Mike needs to show that he can do the rut.
Yeah.
I'm like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's back there. It's a deep mud pit." And I'm like, "Okay." So I said to Chad, because he pulled up next to it, he's like, "All right, go ahead." And I said, "Well, if I make it through, you're next." Right? Well, I made it through.
Keep going! Woo! Nothing! Mike, nothing!
Yeah. Like, it wasn't even there. It was awesome.
It was awesome.
I was very happy with that.
The one thing that we were very concerned about, and I don't remember if we got too much footage on it, was when we finally got it pulled out, was it hydrolocking?
Actually, if it hydrolocked, he'd have to pull spark plugs out.
But that was our concern.
It was our concern, but he did have a lot of water puking out of the pipe.
He did, yeah. When we finally got it, like, we drained out, well, Chad pulled the drain plugs
out of the floor,
out of the floor.
Yeah, it was really leaking. It was really full in there.
Yeah, it was leaking out for a while, and we were just letting it sit before we even attempted to start it. We checked the air filter. The air filter actually got some water hit.
Yeah.
Hit it, so we were a little concerned.
Yeah, it bogged a little bit when he was trying to get through, and so now they would use this excuse on me. Because that's what they do.
You're going to get burned by them.
I don't care. They already know how I feel. They know I love them. But this is the way it is. So this is what they'd say. Chad didn't say it. I actually said it. But I'm pretty sure the big ruts I left with this did not help Chad get through that at all.
Yeah.
Chad might have had a better chance to get through it
if he went first.
If he went first, but
he probably did have.
You know, so I got out. I walked around the pit. I walked right up to his Jeep and I said, "Your turn, buddy. Let's go."
Keep going! Ah! You're moving! There you go!
I'll give him credit. He floored it.
He floored it.
He made it. I want to say
He made it about 60%.
Two-thirds,
60% of the way. He made
yeah,
it.
about 60% of the way he made it through,
And then
then at one point he just slow and then stopped.
Yep.
And he was doing all the tricks. He was trying to rock it,
Yep.
get the steering wheel moving back and forth.
I think he was just caught up.
I think he's high centered because when we got him pulled out, there was a whole bunch of mud caked up right on his front diff.
Oh yeah.
So I think he high centered on his axles.
Could be. And that front diff is actually an issue. That is one of the issues he had with it. That Jeep has that stupid vacuum.
A locker?
No, it's not a locker. It's like a vacuum actuator where, like, when you shift it, it pulls vacuum into the front diff and then has the drive shafts connect together.
Okay.
It was a way to not get out and lock your hubs in, but not have your front drive train spin for gas mileage.
Gotcha.
So that was giving him a problem. We were talking about he's got I think he's going to order an upgraded kit, has chromoly axle shafts.
Oh, that'll help him out a lot.
And like a one-piece chromoly axle shaft that will eliminate that stupid vacuum thing, and bigger U-joints. So that's a win-win for him, especially since he says he's going to keep the Dana 30 front. The next time we go. So his biggest thing was the four-wheel drive. Either it would delay to shift in, or it just wouldn't.
Well, I know the one time he did get it to shift, but it was grinding the entire time.
It was angry. Yeah.
It was really grinding to get into like four-wheel.
Yep.
And when it did, it would like jerk right into gear.
Right.
And it looked angry. It looked very angry.
Yeah. So pretty much that was his only, and getting stuck.
Yeah.
That was really his only biggest issue.
It was only that one pit too, because he'd been through.
Yeah, I mean he went through
the other pit.
Yeah, he went through a lot of stuff. So Ricky's dad has that 78 Chevy flatbed.
Yeah.
And that's a really cool build. That was just a regular, I think that was a standard cab short bed with an inline six that sounds like a diesel. 456 gears in it. I think it has a Detroit in the rear. They actually bobbed it and cut the bed a little bit. So they shortened the wheelbase. They threw the fuel tank on top of the bed so it wouldn't get caught on anything underneath. I want to call that our support vehicle.
Yeah, he doesn't want to go through anything because I think one of his biggest fears was like his vehicle's very heavy.
It's heavy.
And I think one of his biggest fears is if he gets stuck, it's going to be a nightmare to get it unstuck.
Right.
Get it out. So he doesn't really go through anything deep or anything too treacherous. He tries to avoid it as much as possible.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would definitely call that truck our recovery vehicle.
Yes.
Because he has pulled out, he's pulled all of us out in the past. He's pulled Rick out a few times. He's pulled Chad out a few times when Chad had the tracker. You're right. What are you waiting for?
Let's get a beer.
Fresh beer.
I already spilled it on myself.
That's all right. You want to restart?
No.
Okay. Well, so that's really going to be it for this. I want your opinion. What was the coolest moment? What was your favorite moment of the trip?
Few things that I personally liked the most out of the trip, and if I had to narrow it down, it'd be to two. The first one had to be like when we first got the S-10 through, not the first mud pit, but the second mud pit, like the rut.
Oh, the one that Chad got stuck in.
The one that Chad got stuck in. Going through that pit was probably the best like moment, because it went through that and it didn't seem like it had really much hesitation. It just powered right through, chugged along, and when you made it to the other side, it was even Scott like,
oh, he was going nuts. It was great.
It was the best like feeling to, even though I was on the outside, like it was the best feeling to see that truck go through that pit and it make it through and not have a care in the world, and it did it perfectly.
It did what it was designed to do, and that, yes, being the pilot of this vehicle, yes, I will say that was probably one of the best moments of the trip, is saying, you know what, there was a time I would have got stuck in this shit, but not this time.
Yeah.
And I'd say my favorite part is that was probably my favorite part too, but I'd say 1A, pulling Chad out. Sorry, Chad. You know, the big schlong in the locker room feeling is awesome. Just saying.
But anyways, this is gonna wrap up this video. If you guys liked it, give this video a thumbs up.
At least 25.
Yeah, 25, and we'll go and make a whole unedited version of all the footage we have from AOAA. Like I said before, there's been a lot that got cut out. Yes. And we want to show it, but we want to know if you guys want to see it. So we have no problem going to show it at all. And also, you know, one of the days in the future, we're gonna have, holy crap, if I could talk. One of these days in the future.
Have another beer. Oh, you're good now.
I'm good now. One of these days in the future, we're gonna definitely sit down just like this and have Chad and Rick sitting beside us, and we're all gonna sit down and talk. And this is also not gonna be the only time we go out to AOAA or another off-road park.
Yep. Yeah, and if you liked the AOAA footage, let us know what you thought. Let us know your favorite vehicle. Let us know what vehicle had the most potential, what vehicle needs the most help, which vehicle sucked. Although I don't think any of them did. I think they all did very well.
Yeah.
So hopefully in the future we have videos like this with our fancy setup here with our tires and table. And
oh, it's very sophisticated. Only the best for the fine road. I really should have another one.
You should have another one.
Only the best for Monroe County's finest.
Absolutely. And being said, I believe this is Monroe County's finest.
Absolutely it is.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Nate.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.